You gonna cry again? Or can we get this over with? That's the first thing she says. Not, good morning. Not, we need to talk. Just that. Cassandra's leaning on the kitchen island like she owns the house she barely helped pay for, swirling wine in a crystal glass like she's at some gala instead of half-drunk in a robe at 9 a.m. on a Sunday. So what's the plan now? She said, leaning against the sink. Are you going to give me another one of your teary-eyed sermons about how love is supposed to be sacred? Or are we skipping that tonight? I didn't respond. Just looked at her. Red robe, barely tied. Hair perfect. Makeup still sharp like she hadn't even bothered to take it off from the night before. Or maybe she just woke up ready to kill. I didn't say anything, I muttered. No, but you're doing the thing with your face, she said. That constipated martyr look. Like you're carrying the weight of the world, when really it's just your ego. I sat down at the table. The wooden one I built with my hands, back when she used to clap at things like that. You come home at 6 a.m., I said. No calls. No texts. No explanations. Not even a lie. That's new. She grinned over the rim of her wine glass. Why lie? You stopped being interesting years ago. I figured you'd appreciate the honesty. That what you call this? I call it mercy. You want to cry and call it betrayal? Fine. I call it escape. I let that sink in. She walked over and sat down across from me, robe slipping open just enough to make her point. You're not even mad, she said. That's what's funny. You're just boring. You didn't even yell. What's the point? I said. You're not worth the energy anymore. She laughed. That's the spirit, Dennis. There's the guy I married, full of wet cardboard and broken metaphors. You were gone all night. She tilted her head, mock curious. And no call. Wasn't in the mood. No text. Didn't want to wake you. You look so peaceful when you're silently dying inside. I smiled. It was the kind of smile you wear at funerals. I hope he was worth it, I said. She blinked. Who? I shrugged. Whichever one. Oh, don't flatter me. I'm not juggling a circus act. I pick quality over quantity. And you settled for me? She took another sip. You were a charity case. A project. But you don't renovate well. Too much rust. You said you loved me. I say thank you to waiters too. Doesn't mean I want to sleep with them. There was a long silence. Even the clock on the wall seemed to pause. I rubbed my face with both hands. The roughness of my calluses reminded me who I was. You know, if you're trying to hurt me, you're not as good at it as you think, I said. Oh, Dennis. She leaned back, stretched like a cat. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just tired of pretending you're not already broken. I looked down at my wrist. The bracelet Mason made me. Red, blue, yellow. Still there. She noticed. That thing again, she said. You know he only gave you that because the teacher told him to. You know what I love about you, Cassandra? I said, tilting my head. Absolutely nothing. Her mouth twitched. That stung more than she expected. I stood, walked toward the hallway. Where are you going? She called after me. To breathe. Don't take too long. You still have to mow the lawn. Or whatever else makes you feel like a man these days. I paused at the stairs. Don't worry, I said. I won't be your man much longer. I didn't go far. Just to the garage. I always end up here when my head gets too heavy to carry. The air inside is stale and dry, smells like rust and memory. There's a busted stool by the workbench, a crooked shelf with jars of screws sorted by size, and my dad's old toolbox under the table, hinges squeaky as hell, same as they were when he gave it to me at 19. I sat. I didn't cry. I don't really do that. I just let the silence crawl all over me until I couldn't tell where it ended and I began. From inside, I could hear Cassandra's heels clicking across the hardwood. She had a walk like a judge entering a courtroom. Always deliberate. Always superior. I remember when she still kissed me on the forehead before leaving for work. I remember the night she brought home wine and 2 slices of chocolate cake just because. And I remember the first time she rolled her eyes when I asked if she was okay. It starts there. With the eyes. Then the voice follows. Then the hands. Eventually, even her shadow doesn't want to be near you. She used to say I made her feel safe. Now she treats me like I'm something she's trapped under. I looked down at the bracelet on my wrist. Still there. Still bright. Mason gave it to me 2 birthdays ago. I told him I'd wear it forever. So I do. The garage door creaked open behind me. Small feet. Mason, I said without looking up. He padded over and sat on the cold floor next to me, cross-legged like it didn't bother him. You okay, Dad? Yeah. He leaned into me, shoulder against my arm. I heard you and Mom talking. I didn't answer. Is she mad at me? That made me look at him. He was wearing his Spider-Man pajamas. The left sleeve had a rip we'd stitched with black thread. His hair was sticking up in 5 directions and his eyes were too big for his face. No, I said. She's just mad. Did you do something bad? Probably, I said. I'm old. I do bad things without knowing it. He grinned a little. Then he pulled something from his pocket. It was a folded piece of paper, crumpled and bent. He handed it to me. Inside was a drawing of me holding his hand. My Carhartt jacket was blue. My beard looked like a cloud. We were standing in front of a house with stars above it. That's you, he said, pointing at the bigger figure. I nodded. What's the stars for? He shrugged. I dunno. I just wanted them to be there. I put the drawing in my chest pocket and patted it. Thanks, but... He smiled again, then said, can we go to Uncle Ray's this weekend? He said there's gonna be burgers and a fire pit, and that Aunt Marcy's making those s'mores with peanut butter cups. I chuckled. I dunno. Depends on what your mom's got going on. Mason frowned. She said she might be busy. Of course she did. He leaned in close again. Can we go anyway? He asked. Just us. I didn't answer right away. I looked around the garage like it had the answer somewhere on the walls. Outside, the wind was picking up, leaves scratching along the driveway. The world kept turning. Yeah, I said. We'll go. His grin could have lit the whole town. He jumped up and ran back inside. I stayed a little longer, trying not to count the ways things had gone wrong. Inside, Cassandra was in the bedroom with the door shut. I could hear music through the walls. Not her usual stuff. Something moody. Something with lyrics that felt like middle fingers. I didn't knock. Didn't ask what she was doing. I made us both dinner, grilled cheese and tomato soup. Hers stayed untouched. She didn't come out. Mason and I ate in the living room. He told me about a kid at school who brought a lizard in his backpack and how it pooped on a math worksheet. I laughed like I meant it, because he needed me to. Later that night, when the house was quiet, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Cassandra still wasn't next to me. She hadn't been for a long time. At some point, I guess I stopped noticing. But that night, it hurt. The next morning, a text buzzed through at 8:17 a.m. Ray, burgers, core hole, fire pit. You in, or what? Marcy's already yelling about folding chairs. Bring Mason. I texted back one word. Me, we're in. Cassandra came down at 9:30 wearing sunglasses in the kitchen like she was hungover or hiding or both. I'm not going, she said, not even glancing up from her phone. I was standing by the front door with Mason's bag over my shoulder and the cooler in my hand. Keys already in my pocket. She was curled up in the corner of the couch like a statue, robe on, legs folded under her, wine glass already half empty, and it wasn't even noon yet. You said your plans were canceled, I said, slowly. They were. Ray and Marcy are expecting us. Then go, she said, thumbing through whatever social landfill she lived in now. I'm sure you and your brother can grunt over burnt meat and talk about tools. Mason looked up from tying his shoes. He didn't say anything, but I could see it. He was trying to measure if her tone meant anything dangerous. You promised him you'd come, I said. She finally looked up. I also promised myself I wouldn't settle. Look how that turned out. I clenched my jaw. No offense, but watching your cousin shotgun beer in Ray's backyard isn't exactly on my vision board. I should have left it alone. Should have just turned and gone. But I said, is that why you showered and put on perfume? She blinked. Didn't answer. Just smiled. And that was worse than if she'd yelled. Ray's place was already buzzing when we pulled up. You could smell the charcoal and cheap sunscreen from the street. Mason jumped out of the truck before I had it in park. He was halfway to the cornhole boards before I stepped onto the lawn. Ray greeted me on the deck with a beer in one hand and barbecue tongs in the other. No +1, he asked, giving me that half smile he saves for when he thinks I'm about to confess something. Canceled plans, I said. He nodded. Convenient. I took the beer. The cap was already off. It was cold, bitter, and didn't do a damn thing for the heat crawling up the back of my neck. The day rolled on like any other. Neighbors and cousins. Beer cans clinking in the cooler. Somebody trying to tune a guitar and getting heckled for it. Kids running wild, Mason included. Marcy was flipping burgers in an apron that said, "Real women use charcoal." She smiled when she saw me, asked if Cassandra was feeling okay. I told her she had a headache. The kind that only shows up when family's involved. You look tired, she said gently, handing me a paper plate. I didn't answer. As the sun started to sink and the first marshmallows hit the sticks, I stepped inside to use the bathroom. The house was quiet, cool, smelled like lemon cleaner and pulled pork. I walked down the hallway, toward the guest bathroom like I'd done a dozen times before. That's when I saw it. Sitting outside the laundry room door, half tucked behind the corner like it had been dropped there in a hurry. A laundry basket. No lid. Half full. And hanging out of it like it wanted to be seen. Her underwear. Not just any underwear. Red. Lace trim. Tag half torn. Cassandra's. The same one she wore 2 Christmases ago when she told me it made her feel dangerous. The same one she swore she'd lost on that weekend trip to see her cousin out in Gatlinburg. I stared at it like it was radioactive. My stomach dropped straight through the hardwood. And next to the basket? Her red bottom heels. Sitting there like punctuation. This wasn't hidden. This wasn't an accident. This was left out like a trophy. I backed away from the basket like it might bite me. Turned and walked into the bathroom, locked the door, and just stood there. Didn't pee. Didn't breathe. I just stared at my face in the mirror. Saw the lines under my eyes. The patchy stubble. The look of a man who finally caught up to his own denial. Ray. My own brother. I leaned over the sink. My hands were shaking. My jaw ached from clenching. I splashed cold water on my face and left it dripping. Then I walked out. Straight down the hall. Straight out the front door. Mason was laughing by the fire pit. Ray was walking back toward the grill with a fresh beer. He waved. Hey, where'd you disappear to? I didn't wave back. Where's Mason? I asked. Still with the kids. You mind if he sleeps here tonight? Ray blinked. Sure. Why? Because if I see him right now, I'll fall apart. And I don't want him to watch that. He stepped forward. Dennis. She left her underwear in your laundry basket, I said. Quiet. Even. Direct. His mouth opened. Closed. He didn't deny it. Didn't even try. I turned around and walked away. Mason didn't see me leave. I drove home with the windows down, like maybe the wind could scrape the betrayal off my skin. The sun was gone by then. Only thing lighting the road was the occasional porch light and the flash of signs telling me everything was on sale. Back home, the house was dark. Still, Cassandra was exactly where I left her. On the couch, wrapped in her blanket, glass in hand, half watching some reality show. She didn't even look up when I came in. I stood there for a long time, keys still in my hand. You forgot something at Ray's, I said. That got her attention. Her head turned. Slowly, she raised an eyebrow. Oh, your underwear. She stared. Then she said, You went through their laundry? No, you just left it hanging out like a trophy. She didn't answer. Didn't apologize. Didn't flinch. Just sipped her wine and said, Well, at least I didn't leave it at Todd's. That would have been awkward. I blinked. Jesus, Cass. Oh, please. Don't pretend this is news. She stood up, stretched, set the glass down. If you're gonna leave, do it. Otherwise, spare me the victim speech. And with that, she turned and walked up the stairs. Slow. Unbothered. I sat on the porch that night for hours. Didn't speak. Didn't move. Didn't even light the cigarette I'd found in my coat pocket. The wind picked up after midnight. The chimes on the porch swung lazily in the dark. Somewhere inside, a door creaked. And I thought, for the first time since Mason was born, maybe I'm not the one tearing this family apart. Maybe I'm the one still holding it together. 2 nights after I saw her red underwear hanging out of Ray's laundry basket, I heard her laugh in my kitchen. I wasn't supposed to be home yet. I'd gone to the garage to kill time, telling her I was working a late shift, just like she'd told me 1,000 times before. I came back through the side door, moving quiet. And then I heard it. Laughter. Voices. Coming from the kitchen. I stopped in the hallway. Didn't move. Didn't breathe. She was there. Cassandra. And Ray. In my house. In my kitchen. She leaned against the island, glass of wine in her hand, robe slipping off one shoulder. He stood too close, grinning, leaning on the fridge like he belonged there. They weren't whispering. They weren't hiding. They were just there. Comfortable. Confident. Smug. He still wears that bracelet, she was saying. Like it's some kind of loyalty badge. I swear, it's pathetic. Ray chuckled. He's always been sentimental. Remember when he cried watching that dumb horse movie? Cassandra snorted. It's not just the crying. It's everything. The way he talks. The way he breathes. She took a sip of wine. God, even the way he sleeps makes me angry. Like he's proud of snoring. Ray laughed. He doesn't know how lucky he is. Lucky? She scoffed. He's lucky I didn't leave him 5 years ago. Then she said it. Low. Cruel. Like she wanted it to hurt even if I never heard it. But you know what the real difference is, she said, putting her wine glass down. Ray raised an eyebrow. Cassandra leaned in, smiling. You have bigger than him. Way, way bigger. And you know how hard it is to fake surprise every time with Dennis? Ray burst out laughing. Loud. Full. She joined him. That shrill, fake luxury laugh that used to be for me. Back when I believed she meant it. God, she said, wiping a fake tear from her eye. These are hard times, baby. Ray chuckled. Well, you're not suffering anymore. No, she said. Now I just keep the lights off and think about your hands. They clinked glasses. I walked away. Didn't slam a door. Didn't interrupt. Didn't make a scene. I went to the porch. Stood under the porch light, listening to them laugh behind the walls of my home. I looked down at the bracelet on my wrist, Mason's bracelet. Red, blue, yellow. Still there. Still tight. Still mine. And I knew, right then and there, I was done trying to fix this. I was going to end it. Not with fists. Not with yelling. But with silence. And strategy. The next day, I told her I'd be working late. She didn't even pretend to ask why. At 7:44 p.m., Ray's SUV rolled into the driveway. At 7:52, the porch light flipped off. At 8:11, the bedroom light on the second floor went dark. I didn't need to go inside. I didn't need to catch them. I'd already caught enough. 2 days later, I made her breakfast. She came downstairs in leggings and that smug, tired expression she always wore after getting what she wanted from someone else. I poured her coffee. Sat across the table from her. Everything okay? She asked. I smiled. Perfect, I said. Because I meant it. She didn't know it yet. But the woman who thought she was smarter than me was about to find out just how stupid that was. There's something cruel about how quiet revenge can be. You think it should roar, tear walls down, shake the earth. But real revenge? The kind that sticks? It whispers. It waits. It walks in through the front door wearing a calm smile and clean boots. And that's exactly how I started mine. I began the next Monday. Woke up early, made coffee like usual, kissed Mason on the forehead, told him he was going to do great on his spelling quiz. Cassandra came downstairs in her silk robe and fake apology voice. I might be out late tonight, she said. Okay, I answered, handing her a thermos of the coffee I just brewed. Only hers had no sugar, just salt. She didn't notice until she was halfway out the door. I heard her spit in the driveway. I called in sick, then drove straight to the county clerk's office. Got a fresh certified copy of the house deed. My name only. Next stop, my bank. Not the joint account. My bank. The one Cassandra didn't know about. The one I'd been adding to for years in $20 bills and birthday check deposits I forgot to mention. I transferred everything important. Then I pulled the plug on the joint checking. Left $50 in it. Just enough to keep her guessing. 2 days later, she tried to buy $182 worth of perfume and skincare at some upscale boutique. Declined. She texted me. Cass, your card isn't working. Fix it. Me, which one? No reply. That same night, I removed her access to our internet account, the utilities, and the phone plan. She didn't notice at first. But by Friday, when her Wi-Fi dropped during a Zoom call and her phone stopped sending texts, she came into the garage fuming. You touched the internet? I looked up from my workbench. Maybe it's just a storm. There's no storm. I tapped the old radio on the shelf. Still get the weather on this if you want to check? She stood there, arms folded. I have things to do, Dennis. So do I. She blinked. You're being petty. No, I said. I'm being quiet. That's different. The next twist came by accident. I wasn't looking for more dirt. I already had enough to walk away clean. But fate's funny like that. I was looking for duct tape in the back of the hall closet when I found a key taped behind the paneling. Small. Brass. Had a tag. Easy Store 109B. We'd never rented storage before. And Cassandra hated clutter. So I waited until she left for her spin class, dropped Mason at his cousin's sleepover, and drove straight across town to the Easy Store facility off Route 48. The place looked like a row of metal coffins under a gray sky. I gave the manager the number. He scanned the tag. Yup. Monthly rental. Paid in cash. No ID on file. Just the unit number and key. He unlocked the gate. I found Unit 109B near the end. Used the key. Door rolled open slow. It was what was inside that stopped me cold. The unit wasn't empty. Far from it. Inside were 3 large plastic tubs, a filing cabinet, a suitcase, and an old cedar chest I recognized from Cassandra's grandmother's attic. I opened the first tub. Clothes. All new. Tags still on. Mostly high-end brands I'd never seen her wear. Lingerie. Coats. Business outfits. The second bin. Paperwork. Passports. Driver's licenses. Multiple names. Photos of Cassandra with different hairstyles. Some IDs were from other states. The third bin. Cash. Stacks of it. Rolled up and rubber banded. Thousands. Tucked into books, envelopes, even a hollowed-out self-help book. I opened the cedar chest. Inside were journals, notebooks, all in her handwriting, coded entries, initials, dates, hotel names. One entry read, DH out by spring. Ray promising separation soon. Account almost ready. I closed it, sat on the floor for a minute, let the cold seep through my jeans. Then I stood, and I smiled. She hadn't just cheated. She was building an escape, a second life, somewhere I didn't exist. And worse, she thought she was clever enough to get away with it. That night, I brought the key home with me, put it on her key ring, said nothing, just waited. The next morning, she noticed. Did you mess with my keys? She asked over breakfast. Nope. Don't lie. I don't need to. She narrowed her eyes. Then she checked the garage, checked the closet, came back pale. Dennis. Yeah. Did you go somewhere? I sipped my coffee. Why? Lose something. She didn't answer. But I knew then. She was terrified. And she should be. The next day, I scheduled a consultation with a divorce attorney. Didn't tell her. Didn't need to. I also called a realtor. Asked what the house could list for fast. And I made copies of everything in that storage unit. Then I emptied it. Took every last bin. Every document. Even the damn cedar chest. Put it all in the back of my dad's locked shed behind the auto yard. She wouldn't find it. Not now. Not ever. The final straw came that weekend. I was fixing the fence in the backyard when I heard her laughing. Again. This time, on the phone. With Ray. I crept close to the screen door. He's been too quiet, she said. That's what makes me nervous. Pause. More laughter. No, I don't think he knows. He's not that smart. Pause. Another giggle. Oh, please, Ray. You couldn't even spell manipulate without me. I walked inside. She hung up. Who was that? I asked. She looked at me, deadpan. Work. I nodded. Good. I hope you're saving up. For what? I smiled. I was silent. She said she'd be gone for the night. Some girls' retreat. She told me over her shoulder while throwing a tiny gym bag into the back of her car. I need space. Don't blow up my phone. I didn't ask who she was really meeting. Didn't ask where they were staying. Because I wasn't staying either. The second she turned the corner at the end of the street, I started moving. Fast. Everything had to be done in a window of less than 20 hours. By the time she came home, I'd be gone, and everything she thought she owned would be gone too. I'd been working with a realtor on the side for 2 weeks. He was fast, hungry, and owed me a favor from back when I bailed his cousin out of a DUI at the shipping yard. Cash buyer lined up. No inspection. No haggle. I told him the story. Enough of it, anyway. I want them in by tomorrow, I said. He blinked. That's possible, I said. Or you're fired. He smirked. I'll bring the paperwork. My clothes. Mason's photos. My father's toolbox. Mason's drawings. That bracelet. Everything else. Hers. I didn't touch a single stitch of her designer shoes, her 10 bottles of perfume, her 2 phones, or the drawer full of coded journals. Her self-help books stayed. The red bottom heels she wore to Ray's, still by the bed. Even her wedding ring, tossed on the bathroom sink a year ago like a used tissue. I left it where it was. For the new owners. I left a note taped to the closet door. This walk-in closet includes approximately $18,000 in bitter fashion and broken dreams. Feel free to donate or burn. Enjoy your new home. DH. Mason was still with his aunt for the weekend. That bought me time. I loaded everything I owned into my dad's old truck and the rented van the realtor arranged. Then I drove, 3 towns over, to a rental property that belonged to an old friend who didn't ask questions. 1 bedroom, small porch, privacy fence. But it was mine, and it was clean. By 3:45 a.m., the house we once shared was empty. By 4:30, the new owners were unloading boxes. By 5:10, I was gone. She came back at 8:42 a.m. on a Sunday, still in her girl's trip dress, still smelling like expensive lies. The car pulled into the driveway. She stepped out, sunglasses on, coffee in hand, rolling her eyes like she owned the world. Until she saw the strangers standing on the front lawn. Until she saw the welcome home, Ramirez family, sign taped to the front door. She blinked, paused, then stormed up to the porch. Excuse me? What the hell is this? She snapped. The new owner, a short woman with a clipboard and a cheerful energy that could cut concrete, replied calmly. I'm sorry, are you here for the delivery guys? No, I live here. The woman blinked. No, you don't. I own this house. The woman handed her a printed deed. Not anymore. Cassandra's face drained. I wasn't notified. The seller's attorney said the second party wasn't listed on the title. Single owner. Dennis Holloway. She stepped back like the paper had slapped her. No, she said. No, this is a mistake. Two men in moving shirts walked out behind her, carrying a decorative vanity drawer filled with makeup bottles. One of them held up a silky black underwear. This hers? He asked. The woman shrugged. If it's not ours, it's firewood. Cassandra's voice cracked. You can't do this. I need to get my things. You can contact the agent, the woman said coolly. But step onto the property again and I'm calling the cops. And by the way, your stuff? He said it's a gift. What? A gift. Left in the spirit of letting go. Cassandra screamed. Loud. Ugly. Real. An hour later, I heard the tires before I saw the car. She'd found me. I was out back of the rental house, oiling the hinges on the side gate when she came flying down the gravel drive like a banshee in high heels. The car skidded to a stop. She jumped out. Her face was twisted into something demonic. Her hair wild. Her voice 2 octaves higher than sanity. You think this is funny? I didn't answer. You sold my house? It was never yours. You left my things for strangers? They seemed like nice people. She threw her keys at me. Missed. Screamed again. I swear to God, Dennis, Allah. She ran to my truck and scratched the driver's door with her backup key. Deep. Loud. Metal shrieked. Then she circled around. Stabbed the front tire. Then the back. She was halfway to the third when I grabbed her wrist. Not hard. Just enough. Don't, I said, voice steady. You ruined my life. I looked her dead in the eye. No, I said. You ruined mine. I just finally cleaned it up. She jerked away. Eyes wild. Ray won't. He already did, I said. And I left him something too. What? A photo. Of us. Wedding day. Signed the back. Thanks for the upgrade. She froze. Tears building now. Dennis, she said. But it wasn't a plea. It was a threat. I turned my back on her. Walked inside. Locked the door. She stood outside for 20 minutes. Screaming. Begging. Threatening. Crying. Then silence. Then tires on gravel. Then nothing. I sat at the table in the quiet. Wrist resting on the wood. Bracelet still tight. They say if you want something to last forever, put it in writing. So I did. For days after Cassandra keyed my truck and knifed my tires, I sat at my small kitchen table, alone, calm, with the photo in one hand and a list of names in the other. She thought I wouldn't fight back. She thought I'd cry, beg, crawl. Instead, I typed, printed, folded, stamped. The photo was grainy, but clear enough. Ray's face. Her back. Both in our bed. Timestamped. 7:56 p.m. The same night she told me she was going to a women's networking dinner. Each letter was handwritten. Same message. Since the truth means nothing to Cassandra, I figured I'd help her remember it. This is what she does while her husband works nights and raises their son. This is what she gave up a family for. This is who she really is. Signed. The man she never really knew. Then I slid the photo in, sealed the envelope, and sent copies to her mother, her church's women's ministry leader, our neighbors, her 3 best friends, her employer's HR department, the PDA group she used to boss around, Ray's wife, Marcy, and of course, Ray himself. I didn't expect fireworks. I expected silence. What I got? Detonation. By the next afternoon, Cassandra had called me 14 times. Left 3 voicemails. The first was screaming. The second was crying. The third was a weird, calm, robotic tone that ended in her muttering, "You don't know what you've done." Oh, but I did. Marcy called me next. Voice tight, holding back tears. "Thank you," she said, "for giving me the truth. I already kicked him out." I nodded. "You deserve better," I said. "So do you." Click. Then came the knock. I opened the door to find her mother, a woman I hadn't seen in over 2 years, standing with a purse clutched to her chest like it was armor. "I want to say I'm sorry," she said, eyes down. "For her. For raising her like this." I didn't speak. She turned. "By the way," she added, pausing on the porch. "That photo?" The worst part wasn't the act. It was her smile. She left before I could say anything. She was right. That smile still burned behind my eyes. And then, just when I thought the shockwaves had settled, I got the email. Subject line: "You don't know everything. Tokas." At first, I thought it was spam. Then I opened it. Plain text. No images. "Dennis, I know who you are, and I know what she did. But you don't know what she almost did. I used to know Cassandra. She wasn't using her real name then. She was going by Lena in Denver. We were close. But she lied to me. Like she lied to you. She stole from me. I tried to find her. Couldn't. Until now. I'm not writing to warn you. I'm writing because you should know. Cassandra had plans to leave the country. She forged a passport under the name Lisa T. Holden. There's a storage locker still in that name, probably still full of what she didn't trust you to see. If you want to see who your wife really is, check Unit 12F. One last thing. She doesn't stop. She disappears. No sign-off. No number. Just Tocas. I stared at the screen. Then I stood, grabbed my keys, and drove. The second storage facility was 40 minutes out of town, tucked behind a boarded-up strip mall and a highway exit nobody used anymore. It looked abandoned, but the keypad still worked. I typed in the number he gave me. The gate opened. Unit 12F was at the back. I jimmied the lock. Inside? A suitcase. A duffel bag. A burner phone. More cash. But the thing that stopped me cold? An envelope marked Plan B. Inside was a fake driver's license, a prepaid visa, a birth certificate, a letter addressed to no one, in her handwriting. If he finds out, I go to Miami. I'll say I was kidnapped. I'll make him look crazy. Ray can vouch. Worst case, start fresh in Honduras. I'll say he beat me. People always believe the wife. I sat on the floor of that metal coffin and felt my heart freeze over. She wasn't just cruel. She was calculating. She didn't just betray me. She built a story where I was the monster. One she could use if things went south. One where I lose everything. Unless I kept going. Unless I finished what I started. Back at home, I printed the fake ID. Made another round of copies. Put them in one final envelope. Labeled contingency if she lies in court. Taped it under my lawyer's desk. Left a note inside. If she tries to claim abuse, show this. If she tries to take my son, bury her with this. If I disappear, find Tocas. That night, I sat on the porch. Stars out. Breeze cool. Crickets loud. Mason asleep inside. Safe.